very quickly, with thousands of delegates from around the world now gearing up for the 2023 edition of the African Energy Week due in Cape Town, South Africa, later in October. We've got about 90 days, by the way. The gathering will feature high-level discussions, deal-making, as well as policies that will galvanize the continent's energy industry. Joining me for updates on the road to the African Energy Week is Ayuk, the executive chairman at the African Energy Chamber. Thanks for connecting to the show tonight. It's good to see you again this Monday, NJ.
It's good to see you. Thank you so much for having me.
It's good to have you. Thank you so much. Let's hit the ground running with Nigeria, because the whole idea is the new administration. This is my first interview with you, technically speaking, since the new administration took office on May the 29th. What do you think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's focus should be on the country's oil and gas industry?
I think he did exactly what he said he would do during his campaign. On day one, hit the ground running. On day two, hit the ground running. On day three, hit the ground running, and he keeps running. He has not just hit a home run with the energy industry, he's picked up the ball and ran with it. And you've seen some of the key actions he's taken to really drive up the enabling environment in Nigeria to turn around and get more exploration work and more development work being seen. You've seen Total Energies has drilled. They are going to do new developments. Shell coming up, new developments. Chevron coming up, new developments. Almost $18 billion in financings have been rallied, and that is going to go into Nigeria. That is huge, given the underinvestment you've seen in the industry over the last 5 years. But the big thing that this new president has done, he's shocked everybody. He's really instilled investor confidence in Nigeria again, something that a free market guy like me likes a lot. The energy industry is applauding him. We're optimistic, but we want to encourage him to go forward and go more. We are now even more optimistic that Petroleum Industry Bill Act in Nigeria is going to be implemented. And this guy he's a no-nonsense guy. He's decisive. He doesn't equivocate. He doesn't triangulate. He wants to get stuff done. And we're excited to see a lot more that's going to come out of Nigeria. And we are very, very pleased so far. I give him an A so far, but we're still going to hold him accountable to see that he does more for the industry and for the common man, especially those who don't have energy in that country.
What are your thoughts on the full removal of fuel subsidies in Nigeria, by the way, NJ?
Fuel subsidies had to go. It's painful, but I believe this: long-term gain, short-term pain. The industry and everybody who is concerned about that country had understood that this was a very, very expensive gig for the country. It had to go. The rich, the powerful, the well-connected, they were the ones making money. Everyday people were not getting the benefits of those resources. So it's better to deal without it. Like I say, short-term pain, but long-term gain.
Interesting how you think Nigeria can unlock more investments in its hydrocarbon industry that will help lift the economy and the people. Look at what Nigeria's gone through in recent years. OPEC production quota is well below what has been there. Nigeria wants to go back to the table very soon and ask for the quota to be renegotiated. Nigeria wants to get a whole lot more on the table, with oil prices dancing around, flirting with $80 a barrel as we speak. What are your thoughts?
I think Nigeria's baseline has to be increased by OPEC, but it comes a lot more with what Nigeria would have to do. It makes no sense having a high baseline, but yet their production is dropping, and we're still dealing with issues around crude oil that needs to be stamped away. And if you cut that out, your production goes right up. The Nigerian market potentially, with what you see with the state of African energy from the African Energy Chamber reports, you could see productions rise up to 1.6, 1.8, and even 2.1 over the next 15 to 20 months if the right kind of steps are taken. The fields are there. Some of the marginal plays can be brought up to steam and can be brought upstream, and they could move. But we got to deal with some fundamental issues. The baseline cuts by OPEC and everything, it's a warning shot that a lot of work has to do. You can't just be happy saying that we got oil, but oil under the ground means nothing. Production is what really matters. So we need to get out of our arrogance and our complacency and really start getting the job done. And sometimes some of the problems that we've seen, and I hope this president addressed it, has been that with bureaucrats. There is so many projects in the hands and offices of bureaucrats that are not moving because bureaucrats are delaying projects. So Nigerian entrepreneurs, international investors, they're not getting those projects approved. It shouldn't take so long to approve a project, and the time you need to build that project or get those fields moving. Bureaucrats just have to get out of the way and let the private sector drive it, and you would see an improved production very quickly. And I intend to make this topic very tough during Africa Energy Week, because Africa Energy Week is not where you go. It's not where you go to just drink wine. We don't pull no punches. We would have to make sure that bureaucrats move so that Nigerian entrepreneurs, international investors could bring back that big Nigerian glory days of big production. This is time to go big. This is time to go huge. And Nigeria's time is now.
So tell me about this forthcoming African Energy Week. I'm sure there's a whole lot of the agenda. Again, if you look at the East African Corridor Project with Uganda, Tanzania, and others, and again, you've had the big oil companies, international energy companies, and environmentalists talking about what needs to be done in DR Congo as well as in West Africa. When you look at Senegal, you look at Cote d'Ivoire, then of course the problem in Sudan and how that is impacting on South Sudan oil production output as well. It looks like October is already getting seriously front-loaded.
October is going to be huge. But big news today, Total Energies break away from Africa Oil Week for the first time in 25 years. 25 years they've been going to Africa Oil Week. They break away today, and they came on board for Africa Energy Week. It means our time is now. Marching armies can't stop us. But also what is big is that nobody loves the environment more than we do. So this is not the time to stop the East African crude oil pipelines, because they're building pipelines in America and in Europe. There's no reason why Africans should not be able to build pipelines to trade their crude. The crisis in Sudan has not really impacted crude exports going into Port Sudan in Khartoum, in the north through Khartoum. South Sudan continues to produce, but that nation needs to increase production rapidly. And we're going to see an emergence, and so a lot of things coming out of the GTA with Senegal and Mauritania. So that's huge, that's big. I was up in Algeria, met with the leadership of that country. They are going to be coming to Africa Energy Week for the first time, even with our Libyan brothers and sisters out of the whole entire Maghreb region. So this is something really amazing that I'm seeing. But bigger than that, I see Africans really saying, what can we do to improve production? What can we do to deal with our energy security issues, but also making energy poverty history? It is unacceptable that we still have 600 million Africans with no access to electricity, 900 million no access to clean cooking technologies. But we got to deal with those fundamental things that have held energy development in Africa. Cut red tape, cut some of the bureaucracy, transparency issues, fiscal terms. We are not competing for capital between Africa, between Gabon and Namibia. We're competing between Mozambique and Suriname or Guyana. So we need to really have a big push on improving those fiscal terms, because people are going to go for the fiscals. That's what it means. So we need to show up that energy development, sustainable energy production. But let's do this. Let's bet big on gas. Nigeria talks about the decade of gas. Let's take that decade of gas and go around Africa. I think that is a great message coming from Nigeria to the African continent on gas. Gas, baby, gas. Let's go big on gas, and we're going to do that this African Energy Week in Cape Town, and we're not stopping, and we hope we can have you there.
Very interesting that you will be having those who are having a future in the energy industry by providing scholarships to those who are studying energy. How big is this? How much of an initiative is this? Very quickly, 30 seconds, NJ.
$250,000 put on the spot by the Africa Energy Chamber and Africa Energy Week on young Africans wanting to study energy and energy programs and masters. We hope we can get more women applying, because right now we don't even have enough women applying. I think we need to push that. But we put in $250,000 and we actually raising more money. My goal is to get it up to $1 million, because we got to be able to drive up African energy education, because there's so many jobs without people and there's so many people without jobs. We have to have a solemn obligation to train our young people to fill in those jobs of the future that we're not seeing right now. We should be doing that, and we are so bullish by this, and I really thank so much support we've received across the continent. I keep traveling for this. Please go out there and apply. There's a lot of cash on the table for those who want to get. We don't want those who want to take the money and then go bam bam and chill with the big boys. We want those who want to really stay in class. We will be with you.
Thank you so much. I will wish you all the best as you prep for this huge summit with the rest of your team. Thank you so much. Ayuk, the Executive Chairman at the African Energy Chamber. Thank you. Have a great evening.